Hi, welcome to my channel. Let me show you how I made this extra long bling minimum. So extra long means I make the streamers about 17 inches long, but I cut longer than that for enough room to attach to the backer. So 18 to 19 inches long. And I'm using 2.5 inch width black acetate or luster ribbon and gold sparkling ribbon, and it's at least 2.5, maybe 2 3/4 inch width. I'm going to cut a dovetail or a V shape at the end of all of them, and I do cut some of the ribbons a little bit shorter because I like to taper them, so I want them the longest in the center and then I'll taper them. So just trimming off the ends of all of those. It's easier for me to do that ahead of time. And since I'm using recycled chipboard, I'm making a hole in the center for the flower. So I want to start out right in the center. So I try to center that on the backer as best I can. Then I'm making sure that my length from the end of the backer to the end of the ribbon is about 17 inches. Doesn't have to be exact. That's just where I'm going with that. So a regular minimum, I do 12 inches. A mid-size I do 15, and then a mini extra long I do 17 inches. Now I'm going to start with a ribbon on each side of that middle one, and I'm just overlapping them. You want to overlap them to make sure that there's no gaps when you hold it up, and that will make it look nice and full, and you won't have to use a bunch of layers of ribbons. And I'm just trying to overlap these all the same on each side, just to give it a uniform look, because you do see all these ribbon streamers. I'm more careful with the minimums since I only put one braid on there. I really like the ribbons to look really nice and neat and uniform. So I'm just laying them out to see how it looks, and now I'll start attaching them. Again, this is the sparkling ribbon. So it's kind of has a holographic look to it, a metallic look to it, so it's a good homecoming ribbon to use, and it's not an expensive one to use either. You see I'm starting to taper up a little bit on the sides as I get wider and wider. You can make these as wide as you want or as narrow as you want. I like to make them pretty wide, but if you go too wide, then you'll have trouble getting your stapler in there to staple in the center of the backer when you start adding braids and stuff. This is how wide it is so far, but I decided to add 2 more sparkling ribbons. And you can see on my mat like how wide it is, how long it is, and there's no rhyme or reason for the length. Actually, I just had a customer a couple of years ago say she really liked the minimums, but they were wanting it longer. Could I add 5 inches to it? I said sure. So we came up with a price, and then I just started offering the extra long at 5 inches longer, and I do sell some every year. I sell a handful at least. So it's been pretty popular. Here are some options for vinyl. There's a foil, there's a glitter and a shimmer, and then a holographic. This is a soft satin ribbon. I like to use soft satin for the ribbon necklaces or the ribbon pin-on option. I think it's going to hold up better, and then also for the necklace it's going to be nice and soft on their skin. It's not going to be irritating. I have used other ribbons. Sometimes I'll use a wide ribbon just to get a really cute look, but this is going to be the most comfortable. So I'm adding both a pin-on and a ribbon necklace option for them. I do my ribbon necklaces in different ways. This way I'm doing one long piece, about 24 inches long. You can go a little bit longer than that, and then also a loop. You also want to angle those because you got to think about it being on the neck, and so it's naturally going to want to angle to go around their neck. And then you just take that long piece and wrap it through that loop, and then you can pin it. or they can also tie it. Either way. You can tie a knot or you can pin it. Now I am showing this, but it did not turn out. So, you know, safety pins are silver and this is gold, and I thought, why can't I paint this gold? I've got this gold metallic, and then I wouldn't have something silver and shiny on there. And it worked, but it wouldn't go through the ribbon after I painted it. It made it too thick. So here I'm back to the backer, another backer. This is going to be for the top of the mum. And I am just drawing a circle within the circle because that gives me a guide on where to attach my loops. Loops, spikes, whatever you're putting on the top backer. And I try to put it on there pretty evenly. These are the ribbons. They are 5 inches in length. So for a mini or a mid-size, I usually go 5 inches in length. If I'm working with a full size, I'll go 6 inches. I actually did both on this one. And then 3 inches for these. That's just going to be some little ribbon spikes. And then my backer is about 5 inches. So again, I've got that 2.5 inch black luster or acetate, and then this real pretty glitter, gold glitter ribbon, and I'm just angling that on the backer, or I mean on the loop, I'm sorry. It's just a fun little twist on doing loops that I came up with a few years ago, and I think it just gives it a little bit of a different look. And then I'm going to trim that off. I like to trim them. It does help when you're attaching them to the backer to have them trimmed off there real nice and neat. It just makes it easier to see if you're attaching them evenly. Now for this gold glitter, the little spikes, I'm going to cut a V-shape or a dovetail again. See how pretty those are. That ribbon comes from Amazon. The other gold glitter I believe I got from All American Balloon. So I've got the sparkling, and then I've got a 1.3 inch acetate or luster, and then a 7/8 inch gold diamond dust. Layering those, but I'm offsetting it kind of off to the side instead of right in the center. When I do loops on the backer, I either do them in sets of 4 or sets of 3 usually. Unless I'm making like a funky backer and I'm just doing all kinds of different sizes and shapes and stuff. So again, I'm using that circle as a guide on where to attach it on the backer. I'm going to attach my first one on, you know, like the top. I always start at the top, north side of the backer. And I'm looking at the lines, and you see kind of the corners kind of touch that circle, so that's about where I'm attaching it at. And that'll just help me when I attach the other ones. Since I'm doing 3, I'm going to lay them down first and kind of see where they are evenly spaced, and then I'm going to mark it with a pencil. So that's going to help me on exactly where to attach it. You could almost draw a triangle, I think, and use that as a guide. Now I'm just kind of messing around and seeing how I like it. So I'm going to attach those loops. So originally I was going to do the spikes in between and then the loops, but I didn't like it. So I'm doing the loops, and these loops are kind of going, these loops are smaller. They're going in further, so they won't be sticking out as far as the black ones, is what I'm trying to say. Now I'm going to attach the gold glitter spikes in between, and I have to cut 3 more since I needed more than what I thought, or 4 more, 3 more, I can't remember. However many gaps there are. And I'm just trying to attach those evenly spaced there. It's funny that diamond dust looks really kind of yellow in this video, but it's not. It's gold. And I'm using a black flower, so just kind of seeing how does it look so far. course, I'm going to do some deco mesh tubing. You know, I use this a lot. So I'm taking a black metallic chenille stem and running it through the gold tubing. And this isn't regular gold tubing. This tubing is a little bit darker. It's almost got a holographic look to it as well. So I'm folding it over and twisting the ends, and that will keep the deco mesh tubing in place and keep it from sliding down. Now I'm just going to make some heart shapes. These are very simple to make. You can kind of bend them around whichever way you want to. That's what I love about it. Just kind of seeing where it looks the best at. And then I'll staple that on. I like to usually staple and glue the tubing on. I'll quickly do another one. And one more. So I'm doing like groups of 3s on a lot of this stuff on the backer. Now I'm doing the opposite. I'm taking black deco mesh tubing and gold metallic chenille stem. So you get completely different looks. Whatever color of chenille stems you stick in the tubing is going to change the whole looks of it. So you can really make some different looks just by changing the chenille stem. So if you only have like 1 or 2 colors of tubing, or even if you just have the iridescent color, or the kind of white iridescent color, just buy a bunch of different colors of chenille stems and you can completely change the color of it. So I just made a spiral. I'm going to kind of unroll this a little bit. And I like to attach them like that. Just a spiral. Or I like to unwind it a little bit more and then cross it over the center like that. See how I moved it? And that was just another design I came up with because I don't want to use the same thing over and over and over again. So just try to keep coming up with a little bit different, unique looks. And that really wasn't long enough there at the end to attach, so I just added a little bit more of a chenille stem so I have something to staple onto the backer. Again, I like to move it around and see where I like it. So it kind of has a heart shape if you pull it apart more, and then this one is just like funky circles and swirls. You can really have a lot of fun with the deco mesh tubing and chenille stems or without chenille stems. Just whichever way you like to do it. So again, I'm going to do 3 of these. And I really find that if you use needle nose pliers and twirl it like I am or spiral it like I am with it, that you really get a better spiral out of it. If you try to just roll it up by hand, you don't get as good of a spiral. And one more. Please like this video if you found it helpful. That really helps me out with YouTube search and stuff. I appreciate it. I'm taking this gold metallic paw print garland, I think it's called. It's not really a ribbon, it's kind of foamy. But I'm going to staple some of this on the backer for something fun and different. The more stuff you add to your backer, the harder it is to get in there and start stapling and gluing. And then I'm going to just kind of twist it, see how I like it. Move it around a little bit, but I just thought this was a fun, different thing to put on a backer. You see these all the time on mums, hanging down with the braids and chains and ribbon streamers, but I have never seen it on a backer. That does not mean that nobody has done that, but I just thought it was different and unique, and I really, really liked how it turned out. So I always keep my flower there beside me and constantly putting it on the backer to see how full does the backer look? Does it look good? Does it need more stuff? Am I just so when I put the flower on there, is it swallowing up everything that I've just attached where you can't see it? You just constantly put the flower on and you'll really get a good look of how it's going to turn out. I carefully cut that so I didn't cut through the paw print. Now I'm going to add some tinsel on the other side of where the paws are, so it has something fun. Tinsel's a good filler to cover stuff up, and also a good way to add some sparkle. And it's so cheap, you can buy it so many different places, not just at Christmas. You can get other colors throughout the year. But I just love to add some tinsel. It's, like I said, it adds that little bit of sparkle, and then it's a really good filler to put like under the flower, kind of behind it. Just added a touch of hot glue there where I cut that to make sure that nothing comes undone there, frays or anything. I don't think it's going to fray, but it might tear or something. Now I'm adding some black rhinestones. That's on the swirls. Those are some pretty big black rhinestones. Got to finish those off with some rhinestones. It just gives it a better look, I think. Now for some flower diamond mesh. Flower shaped diamond mesh, I should say. And I'm going to put those on the center of the hearts. So this is a blinged mum, so I am trying to add as much sparkle and shine and shimmer as I can. Now for my flower, I'm going to use a black chenille stem since I have a black flower. Cut that off all the way down to the flower and then push that chenille stem through. And sometimes it gets hung up in there, but most of the time it works pretty well. And I just tie a couple of knots to make sure that's not going to come out. Pull that through, open that up, and then I add some hot glue in there. Kind of under the knot and on top of the knot, and then shake it out, kind of squeeze it. I've had zero problems with that, with the flowers coming undone. So here are the custom cutouts the custom cutout I made for the center, and I made an extra one, as you could see. Now this is luster ribbon. You can tell it's luster because the roll is gold. If it was acetate, the roll would be silver. So this is for the chain that's going in the center. It's going to be like a double loop chain. I've made these before, but this is a really pretty loop chain to make. This is going to be my ribbon that I use to attach the loops to. That's from Hobby Lobby. It's some kind of metallic, it's a thick, I don't even know if it's ribbon. It may be like a trim or something. So in the sewing department. So I got all these loops. I ended up making twice as many loops as I needed. So I made 2 chains. I've got an extra one. But I use like dog bone ribbon and glitter ribbons and cheer ribbons because she's a cheerleader. And so I lay them all out to see how I want to attach them. Now I'm going to start attaching them. I always do that with a loop chain. I always see like how many loops do I have, how many do I need, and then I lay them out and see, okay, which way is it going to look best on how to attach them, and then that's when I decide how to attach them. I'm just stapling that because I don't have to worry about the staple because I'm going to add some rhinestones there in the center of every one of those loops to finish it off, plus that'll give it some more bling. So I'm using the diamond dust and that also that other glitter ribbon that was in the backer, and then like I said, the dog bone and the cheer ribbon. So I try to incorporate ribbons from the backer into the mum itself, like in the chains or something. And one more. You can do this chain with grosgrain ribbons, soft satin ribbons, glitter ribbons, acetates, whatever. Any kind of ribbons you can use on this chain. That's what I really like about it. And I'm adding an extra staple just to be secure on all of these. All the way down. Don't want anything coming off. And I'm just adding a little spot of glue right in the center of several of those. And I'm using that flower shaped diamond mesh again. It's one of the prettiest options for bling to me. I know it gets used a lot, but it's just so pretty and it's so useful. And I added one more at the top, but I ended up not needing that one. You couldn't see it once it was attached. So again, with my minis, I only add one braid or chain and I put it in the center. What I'm doing there with these clamps, and those are from Dollar Tree, these ribbons, the sparkling ribbons, first of all, are really curly. And then the luster or acetate, the black, it was getting down at the bottom of the roll, which means it's going to be really curly. So when you pick it up, those ribbons were really curling under. So if you attach something heavy to the bottom, it's going to weigh those ribbons down, and then hang it up and let those ribbons loosen. So I did attach this and did not get it filmed for some reason, but I just used regular diamond mesh, one strand of it, to attach that paw print, and then also a strand of diamond mesh. Well, that's like 4 or 5 across, I think, but that's all those are, and I just glued them on. Then I'm going to attach some other trinkets. Sometimes I get carried away when I'm making a mum and I forget that I was wanting to film it, and so I'll miss some parts of the filming process just because I get creative and I start thinking about the mum, and then I start working, and then I'm like, oh no, I was going to record that and I forgot. But there's a little ring at the top of that paw, that glitter paw, and that diamond mesh just fit right through that little hole, and I just glued it to itself, the diamond mesh, to hold to work as the string or whatever, but that added some more bling. And I use various things to hang my trinkets: twine, different ribbons, soft satin ribbons, any kind of thin ribbons. Now I'm adding some of the flower shaped diamond mesh, and I glue this right under where the backer ends. I don't want it on top of the backer, because when I go to attach all the pieces together, I don't want something chunky keeping it from being attached really well. So I added a piece of that also to the bell, and it does move around, so I put some non-stick paper on it, and then I took a clamp and clamped it on there until it dried. Here's another gold glitter. This is from Hobby Lobby as well, and just making a very simple bow, trimming off those ends, and then pinch in and pinch out, and take your chenille stem and wrap it around there and give it a twist. It's a very simple bow, and I just think it's a really cute bow. I really like it. I'm putting it through that hole on that megaphone. Some of these megaphones, they have a hole up there, but it's filled in. You can't get it in there. I hate that. So I would just glue it to the megaphone if you have that issue. And then of course another piece of bling right in the center. Here's another gold glitter, or this is not really glitter, it's more of kind of a metallic or shimmery kind of ribbon. That's also from Hobby Lobby, but that is where like the deco mesh and the wired ribbons are. Lots of little bows. I just think bows really add this cuteness and softness to the mums. And that is going right there. Again, that little hole where I hung the diamond mesh, it fit perfectly in there. This is that dog bone ribbon, and that actually came from Dollar Tree. It's white with gold metallic dog bones, and I used a black satin with it, so that black satin's really going to make it pop. Cut that off. This is that same kind of bow that I just showed with 2 bows ago, and that one's going on with the bell. I've got 2 bells on there, a black one and then the gold cowbell. Try to tie off those chenille stems and then kind of move the ends of the chenille stems so they won't be sticking out and poking anybody. And I think that ribbon came from Hobby Lobby as well. So I used all different kinds of sparkly and glittery types of ribbons. And that's going with the cowbell, and I wrapped that through the hole of the cowbell. See how I kind of tuck that in because you don't want that to poke anybody. Some more of this flower diamond mesh, flower shape. And these are those little pom-poms you can get at any craft store. Dollar Tree will carry them too. And I'm just going to glue those to that trinket so she has kind of a 3D pom-pom going on. That's just something fun to do. Now I'm taking my microfiber cloth and getting all the hot glue strings off. And then I'm going to hold up my backer on there and kind of see where I want to attach it, which direction I want it, what looks best. I'll move it around. Just see how I like it best. And then I will add 2 staples right there on top to hold it in place. There's my flower again. Just glue those 2 pieces together. Put as much glue in there as you can. Well, don't put too much because it'll ooze out. But you want plenty of glue. And then I go around and start stapling the 2 backers together all the way around the edges, because I don't like any gaps between my backers. I like them to be sealed together as tight as I can get them. That's just a pet peeve of mine. That is my thing. I do not like gaps between those backers, so that's something that I'm really careful about. Everybody has their pet peeves. And it can be hard to get up in there and get all, see how hard it is to get in the center. You can't get all the way in there and get as close as I can. And try not to bend any of your ribbons. Try not to staple anything weirdly. I decided that last one needed to be kind of tucked down because it was just kind of flopping around. So that's why I did that with that paw print. And my holes were not lined up exactly, so I took that pencil and stuck in there just to make the hole. I think the black flower really looked good with this. I was glad I was able to use a black flower with it. There's a little bit of white on there, but I tried to do as much black and gold as I could. Now I'll do some glue. So a chenille stem is secure. I staple this chenille stem to the backer, and then I glue the flower down. So I try to make those flowers as secure as I can on the backer. As far as I know, I've never had any issues. Now I am gluing a clean backer on the very back. So that's going to cover up all those staples and then secure that ribbon necklace on there. I think I said I did a pin on too, but I did not. I'm sorry, I realized I did not. I'm just taking some clamps now and some alligator clips and just trying to squeeze that down so it glues nice and secure. And then if there's any gaps after it dries, I just try to get in there with my hot glue gun and just put a tiny bit and then squeeze that down. Like I said, I don't like any gaps, so I try to get it as secure as possible. So now I'm going to attach the custom cutout. I'm just putting some hot glue all over it, not too much, not too little. I want to make sure it's nice and secure like everything else. Putting that right in the center, and then I'm going to put this stapler on top of it, let it kind of cool down, and now I can go through with my fingertips and make sure that it's squeezed really good with the flower petals so it's not going to come off. And I always attach my custom cutouts flat, not rounded, around the flower, because I have had the layers start to separate from curling it, so just beware of that. I'm going to attach a small bow with the custom cutout, and this is a glitter ribbon. Just making a simple cheer bow. Just cross those ribbons over and make sure you're centered so your 2 loops are the same size. Pinch it in the center. Take a chenille stem, wrap it around there really tight, and cut off the excess of that chenille stem. I left some on there, maybe like 1/4 of an inch, because I'm going to put the hot glue on that, and that's going to help secure it to the custom cutout and the flower. I'm going to slide that chenille stem right under the custom cutout. So it's going to glue to the custom cutout and the flowers, or the flower. And then I put my finger protector so I can get up under there and squeeze it to the custom cutout so it dries. But I've got my fingers in the flower petals, so it glues to the flower petals and the custom cutout. So for some more bling, kind of finish it off. These are the flower shaped diamond mesh. And I'm going to attach these all over, covering up all these little bows. Any little places I see that needs one, right there in the center of that bow. So again, this is a blinged mum, so I want to make sure I've got lots of little bling all over the place. Then I'm also attaching it to the ends of these ribbons. That is going to help weigh down those ribbons. Like I said, they curl really bad, and there's some more vinyl, and that will help. Putting bling on the ends of the ribbons is going to help weigh it down and help relax those ribbons. So I did not show attaching the stickers either, the vinyl stickers. I did use that holographic black and then some gold. I think it was gold shimmer. They were both crickets. All the designs, the cheer designs and the numbers, that all came from Cricut, and I can't remember what fonts I used. I think I used Cricut fonts as well. But here it is finished. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. Again, if you could give that a thumbs up, I would appreciate it so much. Please share this video wherever you can, on social media, with email, whatever. If you know somebody that would appreciate some mum making videos, I would appreciate you sharing that with them, because that will help me grow as well. You can comment with questions. Let me know if there's anything you want to learn and you haven't seen that yet. I will do the best I can to help you out. There's some things that are very difficult to video and to share, and there may be things that I haven't done yet that I can't share, but I will share as much of my knowledge as I can with you all. But please, again, be kind with your comments. There's nothing worse than someone being extremely rude when I work so hard to share my craft with you all. If you like this video, again, give it a thumbs up. That would really help me out as well and make me feel good. You can subscribe to my channel right here. Here is one of my recent uploads. I think you will enjoy that. Here is a playlist full of great videos. Here is another video you might enjoy. Click on any of those and it'll take you right to them. Please consider subscribing, and don't forget to tap that bell for notifications on my uploads, live streams, and premieres. And happy crafting, happy mum making, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day, and be kind to others and be kind to yourself.